Welcome back to Market Day Report. I'm Chris Swift. I'm anxious to see how we're trading the grains now. We had a little bit of a plus sign on them as we left along a little bit ago. Still holding those gains a little bit. Up a penny on the May contract at 440 and 3/4. July up 3/4 at 450 and a half. New crop December 473 and 3/4, up 1 1/4. Let's see if our soybean market held its gains. It's still higher on the day. May up 3 1/4, 1164 and 1/4. July 1179 and 1/4, up 2 3/4. New crop November 1173 and 3/4, up 2. So not making a whole lot of headway there. Let's see what the wheat market is doing, trying to gain a little bit more from yesterday's big gains. May at 572, up 1 3/4. July up 2 1/2 at 590 even, all the way out to December at 629 and 3/4, up a half. See what Kansas City hard red winter wheat, up 6 1/2 on the May at 604 even. July up 7 1/4 at 609 and 3/4. December up 6 1/4, 638 and 3/4. Minneapolis spring wheat a little bit firmer as well, up 6 1/4 on the May at 662. July 669 and a half, up 6 3/4. Dece 694 and a half, up 6 3/4. I want to invite my guest in, Ben Hushon. He is with the mill, and he is in Northeast Pennsylvania, or in Maryland. He is in Whitehall, Maryland. Ben, good morning to you. I hope everything's well, and tell us where you are.
Good morning, Chris. Doing well. Standing in a field that's going to be wheat, a little bit thin. Not that you can see that right below me and on the edge of a field. Just trying to see how deep folks are getting planted. And, oh, yes, corn and beans have both been planted. Last week, for those that remember, soil temperature at 2 inches this exact time last week was 48 degrees, a little chilly. This morning, I have to admit, I was a little surprised. I've just found 52 degrees, so we had quite a change. And really, Chris, I think what's surprising a lot of us, we had frost, including this morning. If we'd have been live 2 hours ago, I'd have had my winter coat on. We were 34, 35 degrees the last 3 days. Pretty good frost, mostly in the bottoms. So just crazy how quickly that ground temperature has changed.
Well, and I know it's been warming up on there. So tell me, will you start top dressing that wheat anytime soon?
So we've made our final pass of fertilizer. The next step will be when wheat comes out in head to start watching all the weather models and see if we have a reason to be concerned about fusarium head blight. But speaking of fusarium head blight, I sent in a few pictures this morning. Barley is in full head and also flowering already. There's a little bit of frost that we saw early this morning. And as I mentioned, corn and soybeans in the ground. Not a lot, but quite a few folks are running hard, especially, Chris, to give you an idea, they're calling for upper 70s. We had frost the last 3 mornings, but seems to be the end of this cold snap, at least for now. But the 10-day forecast is looking a good bit warmer, and that's certainly going to get some barley, head scab products applied, and then certainly corn and beans put in the ground quickly.
Absolutely. And when you're talking about barley, how many acres are you talking about? Are we talking about 500,000 acres, million acres? What kind of acreage are we looking at?
Probably regionally 250,000. And in this area, most of it is gone for feed. So folks that have beef operations, where I was early this morning was a beef operation, so they'll feed all that. There are some sporadic. It's funny. I was talking to another fellow this morning. The barley markets in this area had gone to almost zero 20 years ago, and they've just slowly been making a crawl back. And all these people say, well, is that malting barley? No, it doesn't take too many acres of malting barley for the local brewery. This is grain for feed, and it's just been making a slow comeback.
And does it compete against alfalfa?
You know, it's interesting. Maybe that's part of where the replacement is. Most of the alfalfa in our region has been replaced by other forages that like a one and done type, like a triticale or some of those things. Barley just seems to be fitting in and I guess it's become popular because it is fairly simple crop to grow, especially compared to alfalfa. Alfalfa is an amazing crop, but it is sure a prima donna. You have got to spoil it on a regular basis.
Absolutely. Good deal. Ben, certainly do appreciate you taking the time to be with us this morning. As Ben Hushon, he's with the mill. We're going to go away and take a real quick commercial break. Stay with us.